Hello, welcome back. So I'm sure you've gone through our past videos and then you've gotten yourself familiarized with what we learned in our last class. So we're continuing from there. We're looking at nutrition and health. Yes, we introduced ourselves to foods and nutrition, so we're still on that. So we're looking at nutrition and health. That's the part 3. Now, by the end of this class, you should be able to define nutrients, explain basic food nutrients, state nutrients and their nutritive value, outline functions of the different nutrients, list sources of the different nutrients, and highlight some dietary deficiency. Basic food nutrients. What are basic food nutrients? We are made to understand their chemical substances found in food. Let's move on. What is nutrients? Now, nutrients are chemical substances found in food that helps maintain the body. It takes care of all the body processes. It regulates the body and then helps build cells and tissues. And no single food can supply all the nutrients the body needs to function. So you can't just stick to saying, I love rice. Rice is my favorite and I won't eat any other food. No. Rice will not supply all the nutrients that you need, so you have to eat some other foods to help you get your diet balanced. So I know we all have our favorites, okay? For me, it's all shades of yam, so I can do yam, but that notwithstanding, I take other fruits as well to help me balance my diet. Now, we have basic food nutrients such as carbohydrates and some other that we'll talk about. So let's start with carbohydrates, carbs like we call it sometimes. Now, carbs or your carbohydrates are all energy-giving foods. We eat them to have energy, to get to work, the ability to do work. Carbohydrate foods helps us to be energized. And then we have simple carbs and complex carbs. So for your simple carbs, you find foods like your white flour products, white rice, candies, soda, and a whole lot more of your junk foods and all of that. So these are simple carbs. Then we have the complex carbs, where you find them in fruits, veggies, beans, whole grain products, and a whole lot more of these other foods as well. So let's move on to the other nutrients, which is your protein. Protein, very, very important nutrient that we need. It aids growing. People need to take protein to be able to grow. For those persons that are growing, it helps build our body as well. It's bodybuilding food. So protein is one nutrient that is very, very important for us. And then for protein, they have amino acids that helps the cells as well. Now you find them in foods that, contains a little bit of fat. You find them to help us grow as well. The next nutrient here is fats and oil. We find them, fats is one nutrient too that is fairly needed in the body. We need them in large quantity. If you remember, we talked about macro and micronutrients. So fat is one of those macronutrients that we need for growth. We need a whole lot of them in our diets too when we're eating, but not forgetting that you do not have to take a whole lot of them as well. So you need to do what? Balance them. And you see where we can find them in a whole lot of these other foods and fatty foods, our cheese, our oil, butter, margarine. We find them there, and in some of our legumes as well. And we have fat, we have water-soluble fats and oil-soluble fats as well. So these fats are needed in our bodies too for growth. Now, we also have vitamins. Vitamins are very, very important too. They're very, very important, but they are considered as they are considered micronutrients as well. Vitamins are very, very important, and you find them in sources where, in fruits and veggies. That's where you find them. Vitamins helps us to fight against diseases. It helps build our immune system so we can be able to fight against, common flus and all of these things that can just come up and then cause harm to our body. Now, minerals. Minerals are important too. It's one of the basic nutrients that we need, Now, we find them in such as your calcium, your zinc, magnesium, phosphorus, and a whole lot of these minerals. They're very important too. You find them in fruits and veggies as well. Let's move on to the next one. Water. Water is very important. Water too is a micronutrient. It's very important that we take water. Like we said, water is, our body contains 2/3 of water. So we need a whole lot of water. It's one of the micronutrients that we need in our body because it helps us it makes the body processes easy. It makes movement from one part of the body to the other very, very easy. So if you do not have a whole lot of water, it goes a long way. And there's this common test, I don't know for you, to know if you're actually dehydrated or you need more water. So this common test, there's something you do with your hands. So when you raise it up and then it stays there, that means you're dehydrated, and it goes back, then you need water. And also another way you can know if you're actually dehydrated is when you use the toilet. And then when you ease yourself, if you see your urine is not too clear, and then maybe it's cloudy and it's kind of yellowish, then you need to take a whole lot of water. So, and when you now take a whole lot of water and then urinate and your wee is looking clear, then that means you're hydrated. So you need to look out for some of these signs. It's very important that we are always hydrated at all times. Now, fiber. It's usually not part of the nutrients, but fiber is one important nutrient too that is very important for us to keep the body healthy. So you find fibers in mostly vegetables, you find them in vegetables, and they are very, very good because of the roughages they contain. It helps us as well, and they also serve as mild laxative, to help you poop easily. So it's very important you take a whole lot of fibers. Now we want to look at the functions of the different nutrients. What do these nutrients do in our body? We've talked about them: carbohydrates, protein, and a whole lot of them. What do they do in our body? Now let's look at carbohydrate. What does carbohydrate do when we take carbohydrate foods? It serves as a source of heat and energy to the body. When you take carbohydrate foods, it serves as a source of heat and energy for our body. It also assists in the complete oxidation of fats in the body. It helps assist in the oxidation of fats in our body. So when you take fatty foods, it helps it to do to actually work faster and work better when there's carbohydrate food in our diet. And it gives flavor and variety to our diet. Yes, carbohydrate foods gives flavor and variety to our diet. And also the basics of carbohydrates, that it supplies energy to the body. You need carbohydrate food to be energized and to do a lot of work. Now for the growing child, and even for everybody, most especially the manual workers, you need a whole lot of this energy food, but balanced anyway, not just don't just stock yourself up with only carbohydrate foods, but you need to take carbohydrate food because you need that energy for work. So it supplies energy to the body. Let's look at protein. Now, protein promotes growth. It promotes growth. Protein promotes growth for the growing individual. That's from infancy to adulthood. When you grow up, you still need protein, but at some point you don't need a whole lot of it. Now it also repairs worn-out tissues. Protein repairs worn-out tissues in our body. Okay, let's move on. It repairs worn-out tissue. Then the next one is that it serves as a source of energy in the absence of carbohydrate and fats. When there is absence of carbohydrate, protein can serve as a source of energy when carbohydrate and fats is not there. So it can actually serve as a source of energy as well. And also builds antibodies that fight against infections and diseases. Protein builds antibodies that fight against infections and diseases. Let's move on to fats. Now, fat serves as a source of heat and energy. When you have a lot of fat in your body, or when you have you take fatty foods, it serves as a source of heat and energy. Energy. The body needs heat to be able to function. That's why sometimes when we urinate, you find out that our sweat and they all feel warm. And for the breastfeeding mother, you see the breast milk is naturally what? Warm. Okay, so, and when we urinate as well, it's warm. So the body needs heat. So fats also serves as a source of heat. And also fats helps, it helps the skin to look really good. When you lack a little bit of fat in your body, the skin sometimes doesn't really look too good. And also it facilitates the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. That's what fat and oil does. Now the next one is that it provides essential fatty acids. Fats provide essential fatty acids to the body. And it also acts as an insulator, preventing heat loss from the body and hence assist in maintaining constant body temperature. That's what fat does to the body. When you take fatty food, it helps maintain constant body temperature. So it doesn't matter what you do or whatever you're involved in. The fats in the food or in your body helps keeps your temperature at a constant level. Now, vitamins. What do vitamins do in our body? It improves the appetite. And a whole lot of people say, I can't eat, I don't feel like eating. Are you actually taking a whole lot of fruits or vegetables? Because when you lack vitamins, you might probably not have the appetite for food. So vitamins helps us improve our appetite. Then another one is that it helps to prevent deficiency diseases such as beriberi and rickets. It's very important that we have vitamins inculcated in our daily diet to help, especially for the growing children. It helps prevent diseases such as beriberi and then rickets, lack of vitamin C. When you don't take that, these are some of the ill effects that you get. And also it helps combat the aging process. Vitamins help combat the aging process. That's mostly vitamin E would help you, a whole lot to combat the aging process. Yes, we all know everybody's going to grow old, but it can actually, reduce the rate not to be too fast. So you can actually be aging gracefully and not looking too worn out as well. So the next one is that it helps in the formation of red blood cells. So vitamins helps in the formation of red blood cells. So it's one nutrient that is very important that you inculcate into your diet. Now, water. Water, we all know, it's very important to quench our thirsts. Now, there's something that's so amazing to me. Sometimes you need water. Maybe you can't find water somewhere. It's okay, let me take some of these drinks, your carbonated drinks. You take them. After taking them, you still have the need to drink water because there's nothing like water. When you take it, you just feel satisfied. So water quenches our thirst and also aids the digestion of food and absorption of nutrients in the body. It aids digestion. After eating, you take water to do what? To aid digestion and the absorption of nutrients, all the nutrients you've eaten, so they can go to their appropriate places. Water helps do that. And it assists in the excretion of waste, Sometimes our pools are so hard and then, I remember sometimes my little baby, and when she was to poo, oh, it's so hard, and I'm like, okay, take water. And after you give water, what happens? You're able to excrete easily. So water helps in the excretion of waste. And it serves as the medium for transportation of substances from one part of the body to the other. Yes, water does that. So it helps for easy transportation. When you take your food, it moves it to, we said digestion starts from the mouth. So it moves it from the mouth to the stomach and to the duodenum and to every other part that it should go through to. Now let's look at the sources and deficiency of the various nutrients when you don't have them. We'll look at the sources and then we'll look at the deficiency associated to them when you do not take these nutrients. Now for carbs, now we find some of the sources of carbohydrates. You find them in your potato, just as we have in the picture, in your maize, and then your cereals, and then most of our ripe foods, like your plantain. The end product, as we all know, is glucose. So these are all carbs. So your bread, most of the staple foods are what? Carbs that we take. Now, let's look at the deficiency of carbohydrates. When you do not take carbohydrates, it causes muscle cramps, frequent muscle cramps, and also muscle fatigue. Okay, you feel weak in your bones, your muscle, and then constant headache. You have headache. And then it also causes dizziness, confusion, fast heartbeat, sweating, acidosis and ketosis, also hypoglycemia. This happens mostly with people that are diabetic, because of the rate of the insulin they take. So when this happens, your sugar level is low, your blood sugar is low. So there are some little things you can do when that happens. Maybe for someone that you can actually just give them some sweet drinks to take to help them get balanced, because hypoglycemia actually means that your blood sugar is low, so you need to step it up. And also another deficiency of carbohydrate is that you would be constipated. So constipation is one of the deficiency of carbohydrate. Now for protein. Now, sources of protein. You find protein foods in your legumes. You find them in legumes, your egg, your prawns, chicken. When you take beef, meats, and fish, you find your proteins in these foods. And then what is the deficiency when you do not take protein? There's swelling. You get fatigued. Skin problems. There's irritability sometimes in your body, muscle wasting as well. Then you're prone to infections. And your nails and your hair sometimes breaks off easily because of lack of protein. And then bone fractures. Okay, every little fall, you could get broken bones, especially for children when they lack proteins. So it's very important that protein foods should be inculcated a whole lot into the children diet. Then we see calorie intake is important too, but not as you don't overtake your calories. Calories is the unit of measure found in every food we eat, so it's important as well. Then kidney problems. When you do not take a whole lot of protein foods, you're probably going to be going down with kidney problems. And another thing is heart problems. Another deficiency associated with protein is heart problems. Now let's look at fats. So this is where to find your fats in oil. Okay, you find them in your salmon, flax seeds, olive oil, avocado, your sunflower seeds, your dark chocolate, nuts, legumes. You find your fat there. So I'm sure you're getting used to some of these things, because I know you start getting some of them so you can get your diet balanced. Now let's look at the deficiency associated with not taking a whole lot of fat. The first one, we're going to look at it in two ways: when you take a whole lot of it and when you don't take a whole lot of it. Now the first deficiency is when you do not take it at all. The first one is that you're going to have retarded growth. You won't be growing like every other person is growing because of the lack of fat. And also failure in the reproductive system, okay? It could happen that, reproduction, you need to be able to reproduce. So it could be in your organs, maybe for your reproductive system. Let's just put it that way. And also you can be prone to eczema. That's a skin disease as well. Then phenodema. Now let's look at the harmful effects of excess intake of fats. The harmful effects of excess intake. When you take excess of fat, it slows down digestion. When you take excess of fat, it slows down digestion, and also it slows down the absorption of food when it's too much. And another thing is that you'll be obesity, when you take too much of fat. And then it also interferes with calcium absorption. Too much of fat in the body interferes with calcium absorption. Calcium is needed in the body to help for strong teeth, strong bones, and a whole lot of that. So when you take too much of fat, it interferes with the function of calcium in our body. And then it also causes ketosis. Let's look at vitamins, okay? When you take vitamins, you find them in your fruits and vegetables. You find them in your fruits and vegetables. A whole lot of these. So you should inculcate fruits and vegetables into your food when the next time you're going to be taking that. So let's look at the deficiencies when you don't have some of these vitamins in your body. Now for vitamin A, the deficiency associated with lack of vitamin A is that there's loss of vision, okay? Now the symptoms are like poor vision, loss of vision, maybe in the dark you can actually see so much, and then sometimes, if not treated, it could be a complete loss of vision. Then vitamin B1, that's if you don't take a lot of vitamin B1, you would be prone to having what? Beriberi. That's weak muscles and then very little energy to walk. Then vitamin C, you would be prone to scurvy, bleeding gums, wounds take longer time to heal in the body. Then vitamin D, the deficiency associated with that is that you be prone to have rickets. Your bones become very soft and bent. Then for calcium, bone and tooth decay. That's the deficiency associated with calcium. Then the symptoms is that your bones become weak and also tooth decay. Iodine. The deficiency associated with lack of iodine in the body is goiter, the growth under the glands. Now, glands in the neck appear swollen, mental disability in children. So where do you find iodine? In ourselves, sometimes you find them there. So iron, when you lack iron in your body, you become anemic, anemia, lack of blood in the body. So you become weak. I'm sure you're getting familiar and you're getting used to all that we're saying about these vitamins. So you need to take note and see how you can improve on your diet. Let's look at minerals as well. Minerals, so you find them in a whole lot of vegetables, and fiber foods as well. Now, these minerals are very, very important. I'm just going to say where you're going to find them. And then, we talked about calcium, copper, iodine, iron, potassium, sodium, zinc, and a whole lot of these. Now, if you take cheese, milk, sardines, salt, seaweed, olives, cocoa grains, shellfish, dairy, eggs, grains, you are actually doing what? Getting a whole lot of these minerals into your body to help what? You function well. Okay, for zinc, when you take cheese, meat, milk, you're actually having minerals such as what? Zinc into your body. Then for iodine, you take your dairy, your eggs, and then your grains. You also get them there. Okay, now let's look at sources of water. Drinking water. Water is very important. Very, very important for man. It's one of the macronutrients, with formula H2O. So it's very important that we take water. So where are the sources? Where can we find water? People that are still in the rural area, where we also are the urban part of the urban area too. Now you find sources of drinking water from streams, from lake, from reservoir, from spring, from rivers, from ponds, from well. Today we have the artificial ways we can get water from our boreholes, okay? So all of these are sources of drinking water, which is very important for us. Now, I want to give you a tip on how to solve your nutrient deficiency. For me, I don't like my fruits, I don't really like them taking my fruits, I rather prefer making them as smoothies. So you too can do smoothies and take them, or you actually express your fruits, you express the juice from your fruits and take them. They are much, better for most persons that can't do with the fibers. And take more of juicing fresh fruits and vegetables, then condensed whole food, multivitamins and mineral formulas. You can actually supplement, because we can't actually get a whole lot of these nutrients and vitamins from our food. Okay, so you have to supplement. Take some supplements that can help complement some of these nutrients that are lacking in our foods. And also you can take fermented foods and beverages. Fermented foods can be your yogurts, okay, and smoothies. Very important for us. So see you in our next class. Bye for now.